I think that sir is amazing, and I would just encourage you all to be more participative in the class and ask your doubts, because sociology is a two-way interaction, and you cannot learn sociology as a means of lecture only, and you have to ask your doubts from sir.
Hi, today I have with me Harshit, and it's a matter of great pride and happiness that I introduce Harshit to you. Harshit has cleared the civil services exam this year with very, should I say, flying colors. It's really a incredible performance, right? He scored 150 rank, right? And so he's now just, you know, eagerly waiting because of the pandemic situation. Things are slightly uncertain, but he's just waiting for official communication. Harshit, friends, as you can see him, he's very young, all of 24 years, and he's cracked the exam. Now, his journey has been quite interesting, I would say. Reason being, he looks very studious, and but he was not always a very brilliant student, right? And that should be somewhat comforting to many of the future aspirants also. In 11th, Harshit scored a mere 52%. Okay? And it is only after that he got academically more serious, right? And then he has done engineering, as with many or a very large number of aspirants. After engineering, he started preparing for the civil services, and finally this year he's cracked it, right, at a very young age of 24 years. Also appreciate, friends, that he's taken up the sociology optional like many of us do, and he has no prior academic background in sociology, right? So he's done engineering, and this was the first time that he studied sociology for the civil services exam. Now, I'm personally very happy for him and extremely proud of his achievement, right? So I take this great pride in welcoming Harshit. He's come all the way from Rohini, right? I stay in South Delhi, so these are like literally very poles apart. So he's found the time or bothered to travel all the distance, right? So, and we have this studio classroom come. This is basically my home, right? So he's come down to my home all the way from Rohini, and that is very sweet of him. So once again, Harshit, congratulations, beta, and welcome to IS Gurukul. And now let's try to ask Harshit about his journey, right? So Harshit, please tell us, what is it that motivated you to prepare for the civil services?
So ever since I was a kid, I just wanted to do something meaningful with my life, and not just earn fame or money or anything, but do something with my life that I could be proud of in an older age. So this is what the right means to that end looked like. The civil services offered me that opportunity along with a great career, so that is why I opted for it.
Harshit, beta, tell us, what were the biggest challenges that you faced during your preparation? The biggest hurdles, roadblocks, challenges?
There were a number of roadblocks that I faced in my journey. They were of mental as well as emotional challenges. The mere fact that I wasn't the brightest child, that you think of that only those people crack the services. I also had that preconception, and then the syllabus was enormous as well, as everybody knows, and then I have failed in the interview as well. So overcoming that was also a challenge, and the biggest thing is that when you fall down, how you get up and how you fight back that emotional trauma of failing just before a step ahead, and then you have to give it all from scratch. And there was always a this thinking of that I should not be unemployed for a long time. That feeling comes in after some time. So these were some challenges that I faced.
Thanks for sharing, Harshit. In fact, if I may add, I remember Last year, Harshit reached the interview stage, and when the results came out, he had not made it to the final list, and so he was very disheartened, and he had gone through that emotional, trauma that many of us, when we don't clear, when we, what we go through, and 55 days after that, he had to once again face the prelims, and it is that prelims which he has cleared out, and the subsequent mains and interview, and finally made it with a very brilliant rank to the final list. So, Harshit, tell us, how do you pick yourself up together, after having failed, and what is the source of that emotional strength? How did you overcome that trauma?
I had decided that I would be a civil servant, so this was in my mind that I have to do this. So at when the time comes, 55 days is very less for our prelims to start over. So I had thought of it that I can either cry or I can work. So you can either. So what I decided was to put my emotions in a box and just study. So there were some times when I used to feel very sad that I could have been on the other side, the successful side, but I knew that if I work hard, I was very close and I was not very far. So if I work hard and if I work very hard, I will get through. But if I fall prey to these emotions, I would have sabotaged my preparation.
Absolutely. So that's the best thing that you could do for yourself, beta. In hindsight. Harshit, beta, tell me, which portion of the UPSC syllabus did you find academically the most challenging?
There are a lot of portions which are not overlapping between the prelims and the main section. So in my first attempt as well, I skipped that portion and that led to my selection. I skipped some part of that syllabus and that led to not being selected. So this time, that is one area which has less number of material available as well. And you have to really, like security, like society, a lot of people skip. I'm from sociology, so I didn't face any problem in that. And in GS3 as well, in GS2 governance topics are there, which are you have to really dig into different sources and find out. So I focused on those small topics, and which are often neglected by people due to different reasons, and that was really helpful for me.
Thanks. Harshit, ये बताइए that how did you zero down on sociology as your optional, right? Because that is one dilemma a lot of students face. You're literally spoiled for choice. You have more than 20, 25 subjects from which you have to choose one. And a lot of people from the engineering background like you, they know for a fact that it's not an option that they take up one of the engineering subjects, right? Given the nature of our education system and the kind of performance in UPSC also. So many people make that switch from what do you call engineering or science streams to one of the humanities subjects. But within humanities, again, there are several popular subjects like PSIR, sociology, PubAd, philosophy, psychology, anthropology. So what was that decision-making process? What was the thought process which went behind that decision?
I took sociology because of various reasons. The first one being that my graduation subject was not in the optional, honestly. Secondly, the reason was that I was always interested in the different social institutions that we have, that like caste, marriage, family, etc. You are a part of these, and you know about them a lot already. So it becomes very easy, and I was interested as well. Thirdly, a lot of coaching and material is already there, so you don't have to dig in very deep. Fourthly, the syllabus is small, and finally, it is a safe optional. Every year, people do get a lot of marks in this optional, and it never it always gets you in the list.
Yes, it never disappoints that way. Yeah, that's true. Harshit, beta, ये बताइए, did sociology, having sociology optional, did it help you in the essay paper, and to what extent? And how can other students of sociology, how can they use the same knowledge while attempting the essay paper if it helped you?
The general pattern of the essay paper has been that one is mostly a sociological topic which relates to a society, and another one is a philosophical topic. In the philosophical topic as well, we see that a lot of times we see a sociological tint to it. So this time, like the essay I printed was on values and humanity. So I had a lot on humanity and values. We study a lot about values in sociology related to from the ancient times to the modern ones. So I mentioned a lot of it, and I'm expecting some good marks in that.
Uh, did sociology or anything about society come up during your actual UPSC interview?
In the interview itself, I was asked multiple questions on society. I was asked on questions on the transgender bill, their role,
Yes.
and why have they been neglected for the past so many years. And the second question that I could remember was on the Beggars Act, that why do we have to criminalize beggary? The Bombay Beggary Act mentions that. So what reforms could be done? Then this all went into my interview.
So, was the interview, the actual UPSC interview, was it a harrowing experience, or did the interview panel, did they, try to make you comfortable and yeah? So, what was it? Is it like a really a pressure kind of a situation? Honest
Actually,
answer.
I had Shri Bhimsen Bassi Board. He was the he was the police commissioner in Delhi. So my interview was a little stressful. So the entire board in different parts of the interview was trying to put me under the pressure to the extent that I was asked about, tell me about the economy of Malta, or you could get out. This was the question that was asked to me in the first few questions only. So that is all. I think that they do not test your knowledge in that. They test your composure and how you handle these questions. So I don't think they would expecting an answer to this. I'm still to find someone who can answer this. So it's all about your composure and how calm you remain.
Great, Beta, great. So, you were able to maintain your composure?
Yes, sir, sure.
Yeah, that was very good. Okay, did your knowledge of sociology, did it help you in anywhere else in the entire scheme of things in the UPSC exam?
Sociology helps you throughout, from essay as I've mentioned, then coming to GS1. In mains paper, it is one of the most neglected topics, and we are seeing all questions. I has as 45 marks, 15 markers, 3 questions from the
Yes.
society portion, and people neglect it a lot. And in GS2, uh, we have welfare schemes as well, right? So sociology plays a great role over there when we talk about transgenders, girls, women, and in GS3, and economy is increasingly becoming welfare economy. So in welfare part, the role of sociology comes. You have to think about different sections of the society, and in ethics,
Yes.
a lot of thinkers are there, a lot of values we inherit from sociology, conflict theories, functional theories.
Yeah, so you found this optional useful in various portions of the
And I used
exam.
it wholeheartedly.
You used it also wholeheartedly. ठीक है, great. Harshit, beta, tell us what is the best way of presenting the answers in the answer sheet? Should the students be writing in points form? Should they be writing in paragraph form? Is it advisable to use diagrams? And so on and so forth.
From what I have experienced in the 2 mains that I've given, that the teacher over you write answers from the teacher's perspective, from the examiner's perspective, that they would be having very little time to see what's actually in your paper. So your answer should be presentable, and whatever facts and the things your thoughts have been asked should be clearly presented. Then the if it has to be points or paragraphs, that depends on the question. If one is asking for your opinion, then I think that paragraph form is better. And one, if something is, you have to mention some facts, some you have to mention some, you have to give some advice, or they're asking what would you do, then a point form would be better. So it actually depends on the question itself.
ठीक है. And so you use multiple ways of presenting the answers, huh? Of course. Now this, no, I know the answer to this question, but still it needs to be answered by you for the benefit of everybody. Did you attempt all the questions in the question paper, or did you miss out significant portions?
So it means
Yes, in mains,
uh,
in both GS and the optional.
in mains and GS, I attempted all the questions, and I would highly recommend people to do the same, because we have in the examination, we have marks for everything. So even if you write something, if you even get half a mark, that can change your service. If absolutely, it will change your service, and cadre, it will change everything. Even if you get half a mark higher, we have like 14 ranks on one mark. So each mark matters.
And for the optional, did you attempt all the questions in the sociology optional papers?
Yes, I did attempt all the questions, and the choice of questions has to be very thoughtful, and you have to give some time to selecting what questions can you really attempt well, because you have a choice in the optional papers.
Harshit Beta, please tell us. Students ask me time and again and again and again. How do you make sociology in your sociology answer sheets? How do you make your answers sociological? Or, in other words, how do you distinguish your answers in sociology from those in GS? And this problem is particularly somewhat exaggerated in the sociology paper 2, which it seems as several GS type questions.
I'll give you an example. Like we have, if I ask a question, that role of status in the society, role of women in the status of women in the society. A person with no sociological knowledge can write a very good answer. But when we ask for a sociological perspective, we are looking for different thinkers that have given some inputs. There are some terminologies in sociology that are used jargons which are given by different, that you mention the name of the feminist, Marxist feminist, or anything that this person has said this according to this theory, conflict theory, functional theory.
Yes.
That is how an answer becomes sociological, and then you pick up observations from your society. Sociology is everywhere, so you pick up observations from your class, your home, your friend's home, from newspapers, anything, and you mention that along with the terminology that you might have studied, a concept that you might have studied.
Can you use some such sociological jargons? Yeah.
Yes, like Karl Marx, we read a lot about his materialism and alienation, and then feminist Marxism, they call on different Margaret Benston we have, and they'll use a lot of terminology, sir. I cannot remember, as it has been a year since I gave the paper.
Thank you. And how do you deal with questions which you have not prepared? Okay. For instance, this year in sociology paper, you had a question on the sociological view of demonetization. Right? Now you must have studied demonetization for your GS as part of GS economics, but definitely not for sociology, right? Because such things you really can't predict or this thing. So how do you deal with such questions, and how do you make them sociological?
What you
There
do?
was another on forest fires or
Yes.
something of that sort. Yeah.
I'll talk about the demonetization one. I think I actually attempted that one.
Yes.
So what I did was you studied different classes in sociology as well. You study different castes as well. So what I did was I broke it down into classes. That how the upper class is using the lower class. We did not see any higher class with a lot of money standing in queues. They had links with the bank managers or anything. This shows the difference in classes, and then how the lower, it was meant to target the upper class who had a lot of money. And then I use Marx concept over there, and that it would be actually the lower class which would actually be always be suffering, and how they were given some petty money for them to take the black money into their own accounts. So that is how I made it a little sociological, using the class concept, and I used the concept of women as well, that they keep a lot of hidden money so that they can spend it on something that they get from their husbands, and they had to come up with it, and they lost their savings.
Yes.
That is all I can remember that I focused on.
Good. So this exam does require some thinking on your feet in the examination hall. Huh? You can't be that I've done sociology sufficiently, now I'll just vomit it out. Huh?
It requires, I think sociology as a subject is one where you have to be very observant of things that are happening around you, and you have to read the newspapers, you have to observe your surroundings as well,
Yes.
and news as well, and every little input that you get, you can use it in the sociology paper along with some concept.
Yes. Harshit beta, tell us about how do you do that, uh, or let me rephrase it. You tell us about you've appeared in this exam multiple times. You have failed also, and finally you've succeeded, right? So, what is it that makes the difference between failure and success? Huh? So you haven't changed greatly or much. It's the same student, same kind of effort or inputs, but some change in strategy possibly led to a distinction between your failure and your success. So tell us.
In interview, I would like to mention that last time I was in the thought process that interview is only a test of personality, and the knowledge is not very significant. But I would like to mention that knowledge is also a part of your personality. And I don't know, sir, is not a brahmastra that you can use anytime, every time. So I studied a lot. I read 2 3 newspapers per day. I revised entire sociology 2 to 3 times before the interview, and I was very aware of everything that's happening around me. I was very well read on my DAF this time, very well read. And in the mains, I would like to mention that I prepared handwritten notes on every little topic, every little word that is present in the syllabus, and I have handwritten notes on everything. So very strategized and very thought out I had become in the process, that no word should be left in the entire syllabus.
So the key was to be much more thoroughly prepared. Yeah.
And to not be lost in the preparation, UPSC gives you a very detailed syllabus, and it is not like you have to study anything and everything under the sun. It's not like that. You have a syllabus, take it as any other exam, like a board exam or anything. You have a syllabus, you study for it, and the paper also comes out of the syllabus only, in mains especially.
Uh, Harshit, tell us about the importance of answer writing and attempting, test series or writing answers on a regular basis for the mains.
I actually started writing answer only after I have given prelims, and I had joined test series in both my attempts, and I have given all the tests, and I think it prepares you very well, because in mains one of the most important things is to manage time, and even if you miss out on 2 questions, it becomes very difficult for you to make it to the list where you could have scored 10 marks more. And the test series teaches you time management, and the inputs from the teachers tells you where you are wrong and how you can improve.
So, just to clarify, I will not suggest that to others that you begin your mains answer writing only after the prelims. Okay, it worked for Harshit, it may not work for everybody. Yeah. Okay. Harshit, can you please share with us what was the role of your parents and your close friends in your success?
Parents have played the most important role in my life. They have provided me all the financial as well as the emotional support that was possible. They never stopped me from getting anything or stopped me from preparing for anything. And they were confident in me that you will make it through, and we are ready. Even if you don't, we are with you. And that is what matters, and that is what pushes you to work even harder for them. So what I achieved is because of them, and it is for them.